Looking for a convenient way to have nutritious kidney beans ready whenever you need them? I can show you how. I usually grow my own kidney beans. They're very easy to grow, but this year I was very busy and I bought mine from Azure Standard. I prefer buying the dried kidney beans, soaking them and cooking them, but each time it takes so much time and energy. That is why today I'm going to show you how to pressure can couple quarts, and you'll always have them ready in your pantry when you want your favorite bison chili like I do. Hello, my name is Jersey. Let's get started and jump right in. Safety first. Know your machinery, know how to do it, know what needs to be a water bath and what needs to be pressure canned. Very important. I'm going to add 1,225 grams of the light non-GMO and 1,225 grams of the dark organic. Normally I don't measure, I just gauge. I'm going to use a half a bag of each. And I will be using kidney beans that I ordered from Azure Standard. I like to mix the light and the dark in my chilies. You definitely see the difference. I'm going to add the beans to my cast iron pan. I'm going to look through them. Usually after I add water, I can see if there's anything that floats, needs to be taken out. And I'm going to fill this up to the top with water and let it sit about 12 hours. It is 4:36 a.m. So probably after dinner tonight, I will pressure can these and then I'll set the camera up again and I'll show you what I am doing. I should note, I always rinse these. I'm going to rinse them several times. I can feel the dust on them. So I'm gonna put them back in the pot, add water, go through them, rinse them probably 2 times, add them back to the pot and fill the pot up with water. And now if for some reason this pot is not big enough and the water starts dissipating out too much, I'm gonna keep adding water so the beans are always covered. You need to make sure your beans are always covered. They can sit 12 hours, 18 hours, 24 hours. I'm gonna do 12 hours. That should be more than enough. I don't know if you can see how dirty this water is. This is why I always rinse my rice, my beans, anything really, really well. And it also picks up floaters or anything that's in it that's bad. I'm going to rinse this probably 2 to 3 times until the water is almost clear. But very important to rinse, even if it's organic and non-GMO, it is still very dirty. I'll also let it sit 5-10 minutes. Rinse it, and then rinse it again and again, and then I will soak it in the pot for 12 hours approximately. And it's been 5 minutes. I don't know if you can see how dirty that is, and this is only the first soak. I'm gonna rinse it a couple more times, but I just want to show you how important it is to rinse your beans and let them soak at least 5 minutes, and then rinse them again. I have several inches over the top. Every 2-3 hours, I'll open it up, see if there's any floaters, and see if it needs to add water. And I will just add cool, cold water and let it sit until 12 hours. Keeping the tight lid on so the water doesn't evaporate so fast. And here are just a few of the floaters and ones that I didn't think were good enough. Here it is 4 hours later. This is what I thought. There wasn't going to be enough room. So I'm going to put it in my blue speckled water bath canner so it will have a lot of water, because I'm going to be busy and I don't want to forget. So you need to keep a couple inches of water over your beans. I took the opportunity to drain them and rinse them again, and I'm going to add 3 to 4 inches of water cold so I don't have to come back until it's time to cook them. Here's a quick note. These labels literally, if you go slow, will peel right off. So for these leftover kidney beans, I had this much. I put it on the front. Then I flipped it over, and where it just said the top, I cut that off and put it on the jar. There's no writing, there's no nothing. You can date it if you want. But just to let you know, you can peel the labels off and adhere them to the glass with no problem. It is now a few minutes to 4, and I am going to bring this pot of beans to a boil and boil it for 30 minutes. I'm going to heat up my quart jars, get them hot. I like to leave them in a 200-degree oven. Then I'm going to drain the beans, fill the jars, add boiling water, leave 1-inch headspace, and then we'll be back. I'm going to start heating up the pressure canner about 2 inches, because yesterday when I did the baked beans, it took around 30 minutes to come to temperature. And I'm gonna start timing this soon, so they need to be coming finished around the same time. And I have some boiling water going over there. And the canning jars are on hold, which is around 170 degrees. Right before it starts getting ready to boil, I like to skim the foam and pick any floaters out. Finally time. I'm going to drain the liquid off, and I'm saving it because I'm going to put it in my compost. I will film showing one jar being filled, and then I will come back when they're all filled. Pretty easy. I'll explain it as I go. It's a little liquid in the bottom to keep it hot, and this is going out in my compost tumbler when it gets around room temp. I love the canning racks that we made. Look up there. I have a full tutorial blog how to make it with and without power tools. They never sag. You can put so many on the little one and a lot on the big one, and they will not sag. I'm going to fill it with the hot kidney beans within 1 inch. So it's about right here on the bottom. Now we have to add a half a teaspoon of salt. I'm using non-iodized salt. Add a half a teaspoon of salt right in there. And now I'm going to fill it up with boiling water to that 1 inch mark. I like to use my tool and get the air bubbles out. Takes an extra moment or two, but that's fine. You want the air bubbles out. Can you see them coming to the top? That will help everything settle since boiling water to it. And when you get done, you may have to add more or take some out. This looks really good. I have some moonshine cleaner. It's the heads and 4 shots. It's about 150 proof, which means it will kill any bacteria. So I stick my clean finger in it and I run it along the rim just like this. And I have my clean and wash lids. Just put it on finger tight, not super tight. Get a good firm hold on it. And the water's just starting to boil, which is what you want. I'm gonna repeat this 6 more times and then I will 7 quarts. I have some extra left out because I'm going to be making bison chili this. And I have a half a gallon left out and just a little bit, which I always like to give my chickens when it cools down because they're soft and it's very good for them. And this is what I'm going to be using for my bison chili this weekend. So technically this recipe is for 9 quarts. If you do not want to leave some out to make chili like I'm going to, then you can adjust accordingly. For this pressure canner, there's an arrow. Ray's gonna help me put it on. And you line that arrow up with this arrow and we lock it. So you line the 2 arrows up and then he's gonna turn it to lock it. We're going to let the steam come out for 10 full minutes before we put the weight on. For pints, it's 1 hour and 15 minutes held at 10 pounds of pressure. And for these quarts, it's 1 hour and 30 minutes held at 10 pounds of pressure. And it also goes on your elevation of how far you are above sea level. You'll have to adjust accordingly. And there we have the steady stream. I'm going to start timing for 10 minutes. It's been 10 minutes. I'm going to put the weight on. There you go. Awesome. That means you have a good seal. And as soon as that hits 10 pounds of pressure, we're going to lower the heat, keep it at 10 pounds for 1 hour and 30 minutes. It took about 11 minutes to reach 10 pounds of pressure. We're going to back off the heat, keep an eye on it, and maintain 10 pounds. Don't let it get under the 10 pounds of pressure. It can go over, but don't let it go under the 10 pounds. And I'm going to set my timer for 1 hour and 30 minutes. And here they are finished. This is the next day. When the pressure released out of the canner, I put them here, spacing them far apart. The bands are still on. And before I went to bed, I made sure everyone was sealed because they were cool. If they weren't sealed, I'd put them in the refrigerator. This morning, I'm going to take the bands off and wash all the jars and dry them, label them, and then put them away. There is a lot in here. It is packed, which is great because now I only need 1 jar and I can do a small batch of chili. I'm very pleased with it. Came out really well. And it's been exactly 24 hours since I started canning them. They're all sealed, they're washed. I use a scrub brush and I really wash them well because if that lid's gonna come up, it would come up then. Because I won't be looking at these because they'll be deep into the pantry, so I wanna make sure they're really sealed before I put them in there. So I will label them with the date. I know what they are. and they weigh about almost 32 ounces. So they're almost 2 pounds for each jar. And by far the best way I love to make dinner with these kidney beans is with bison chili and cheddar cheese thrown on top with some homemade cornbread. Here is the chili sauce that I just made yesterday. Here's my baked beans that I made, and here are the kidney beans that I made. So if I want sloppy joe, I will take 1 or 2 jars of this with 1 jar of chili sauce. Boom, sloppy joe. If I want chili, I will take 1 jar of that and 1 jar of kidney beans and basically just heat it up, and chili is done, because this has the peppers in it, the chunks of tomatoes in it. And if there are too many beans, I will leave 1 to 2 cups out, and I like to have that the next day over rice. So rice and kidney beans. But that's how easy it is. And this is all my other canning I have to put away. These are apple juice and apple cider that I've been canning. But by canning the kidney beans, it just saves so much work by pre-canning this is bison chili sauce, I call it. Mix the two together, and 20 minutes, you have a full dinner. This has its tomatoes in it and everything. But you cannot can the kidney beans with the chili sauce and can it as one. I have never found a recipe, and I personally would not do it if I don't see it in a ball book. And I also make a bourbon barbecue sauce that I add to the beans and to the bison chili sauce, and that really gives it a bite when I make my sloppy joes. Please make sure to visit my Azure Standard video playlist for reviews. Drop a comment below. Have you ever canned with a pressure canner for kidney beans? Please subscribe, hit that bell, all notification, and if you like it, please give a like and a share on social media. And this is Jersey saying see you on the next video.